Hello everybody and welcome to my final game wrap-up of the Tata Steel Chess Masters 2017. Going into the round, Wesley So was out in front on his own, half a point clear of Magnus Carlsen, Levon Aronian and Wijk. The big question was, what was going to happen? Was Wesley So going to take a risk-free averse, make a draw and come at least equal first, after which, were he to come tied, would have to play a playoff for the first position, which is very new, actually, to the Tata Steel Chess Tournament? Or was he going to go all out with the black pieces against Jan Nepomniachtchi, his opponent today, to secure victory? How was he going to set out? Well, we're going to soon see. It should be pointed out, of course, that Jan Nepomniachtchi, his opponent, had a very underwhelming tournament for somebody of his standards. He made a lot of mistakes, a lot of huge errors. So how was he going to react in the final game? We'll soon find out. Jan Nepomniachtchi with the white pieces started out with d4, knight f6 and bishop g5. The Trompovsky, my favourite opening, an opening I've been playing for many years. In fact, I've done a series on it for chess24.com. So if you're a premium user, you can watch that series in which I go into details about the opening and indeed the line Wesley So played, to pawn to d5. And in my series, I recommend the move pawn to e3, though even at top level recently, this move, despite being the most popular, black should still be able to get a good game. It's a very interesting game and chance for both sides. However, Jan plays the move 3, knight to d2. Very sensible move, not the move that's played most, but he did play it earlier on in the tournament against Pavel Elyanov, where Pavel replied with the ultra-solid c6 move, and actually got a very good position after developing his queen to b6 very early. But instead, Wesley So played the critical reply, the move pawn to c5, immediately trying to tell white, well, you've blocked protection of your d-pawn, your knight is slightly misplaced on d2, and I'm going to try and put you to the test for that. One thing we've come very accustomed to with Wesley So is that he is a very principled player, and he plays the principled lines, and he puts you to the test with both colours. That is part of the reason why he has been so successful. Over 50 games unbeaten, and closing in on world number 2 position, even the world number 1 spot. So his form recently has just been outstanding, and his approach to chess and his approach to openings has been a major factor in that success. So today, knight d2 was played, and after c5, Jan took this pawn off. Well, the problem is that if you go e3, you have to deal with queen b6 ideas, and b2 and d4 are very weak. So Jan took on c5, after which Wesley played the very natural e6 move. You can play knight c6, it's an idea to get a big centre, let's say after c3, e5, b4, where the position is very, very unclear. You can even play knight a6, but the move e6 really is just a very simple way to continue in the position and threaten bishop takes c5. Well, here Jan played again the most, optically speaking, critical test, pawn to e4, expanding in the centre. After which Wesley played h6, kicking this bishop before deciding his next move, which was d takes e4. You can play bishop takes c5 here, but after the move e5, the problem is queen b6 doesn't work. Without the insertion of bishop g5 and h6, this pawn would be on prise. But now we can just take this knight off, and after g5 come back, and we're a piece up. So instead here, you'd have to go g5 immediately, bishop g3, knight fd7 and h4. And we'd reach a very tromp-like position that this kind of idea can arise out of lines involving the 2e6 variation, 2c5 variations, where it's a very unclear position but chances for both sides. White will try and take on g5, develop his knight to f3, maintain his pawn on e5. It's more like a French structure now, which I enjoy playing for white. So I think these positions are often quite pleasant for white. Instead, though, after bishop h4, Wesley was having none of it and just snapped off the pawn on e4. Of course, Wesley had seen that after knight takes e4, queen takes d1 check, rook takes d1. He doesn't lose a piece because of the old rook d8 mate. However, the point is that he wasn't going to take on d1. He was going to take on a5, queen d2, take the queens off and play bishop takes c5 with a more than acceptable position. White doesn't want to take on f6 because after knight e4, bishop e7, it's black, in my opinion, who's got the upper hand with easy development and the two bishops. So instead, after d4, Jan played queen e2 and Wesley played queen a5. The idea of queen e2 is not only to win this pawn, but to get in a very quick castle's queen side. But the truth is, this all looks a bit strange. Here, in my opinion, white should probably try the move c3, aiming for b4. Since after, a move like bishop takes c5, of course, you can run into takes b4, one option. Queen a3 and now moves like queen c4, where one of these bishops is dropping. And if not this, well, you can play g5 here, but after bishop g3, let's say queen takes c5, either knight takes e4 straight away or h4, and the position again is very unclear. So I think that was Jan's best of try to go c3 in this position, because the move he did play, or bishop takes f6, it should be pointing out, playing it like this as well. But now, perhaps after f5, we were looking at this in the game b4, and if queen a3, then queen e3 with the idea of bishop b5 check, knight e2 and knight c4. All of this is very complicated stuff. So there are a few ways to play, but the way Jan played with castle's queenside is not very good. Just not a good move. The point is that after queen takes a2, it looks like complete I was going to say Hare Krishna. Oh, okay, it's been a long day. It looks like a suicide mission. Suicide mission. Castle's queenside, you give up this pawn on a2 with queen a1 mate. I actually, during the broadcast, quite liked the idea in principle, because I thought his follow-up was to go. And the idea here being that if you go check, I block with my knight, you take here, and now I take here. And though I'm pinned here, your king is in the center, and I'm threatening a very quick bishop b5 check. So, for example, bishop takes c5, bishop b5 might just be winning for white. King e7, queen c4, and black is just not coordinated enough here. So I thought he was going to take on f6, and even if you go gf6, like for example queen b5 check, knight c6, and now knight e4, even this position might be totally unclear. But instead, after queen takes a2, the real blunder, this, I think castle's queenside was bad, but the real howler from Jan was to move queen b5 check. This really is a double question mark. And I wonder what Wesley was thinking in the game, because like this move just in general in this position doesn't make any sense to me. Just doesn't make any sense. You want to take back on e4 in some way, but after queen b5 check and the simple knight bd7, think white might be losing. In other words, Jan might be lost in 9 moves here. Perhaps he was thinking, well, if he goes knight c6, I go knight takes e4, and I pray for knight takes e4, because I've got my old rook d8 mate. But even after knight c6, knight takes e4, a6, let's say we give a check. Even this position is preferable for black. Queen b6, bishop e7, and white has got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Perhaps he was hoping for bishop d7. And after queen takes b7, the point is bishop c6 is met by check, king e7, and now a move like knight b3, where queen d8 is unstoppable and there's no queen a1 check. But the problem is none of those moves are as good as knight bd7, because now if knight takes e4, unfortunately, we can take this and there's no check on d8. I think it dawned on Jan around here that things had gone horribly, horribly wrong. He tried c6, but after pawn takes pawn, queen takes pawn, and now the very accurate bishop b7. Excellent move by Wesley. What are you going to do with this queen? No, bishop b7 doesn't blunder a bishop, because after queen takes b7, as happened in the game, either rook b8 immediately, with queen takes b2 check mate afterwards, or queen a1 check, knight b1, rook b8. Jan was forced to give up his queen. If he played queen c6, the problem is that queen takes b2 check, king d2 runs into a vicious attack, bishop b4 check, king e2, and now the simple castles, followed by rook to c8, coming down to c2. All of White's boys are at home on the king side, and it's just a massacre. You cannot defend all of the threats, and this is just a resigned position. So Jan tried to soldier on with queen takes b8, check, and knight takes b8, and I bet Wesley So couldn't believe his eyes. Having this position 14 moves in the final round of Wijk, where he would have been content with a draw, I think, to go to a playoff, but to have a winning position and a gift like this, well, beyond his wildest dreams. Bishop b5 check was tried, and now another very accurate move by Nepomniachtchi, knight fd7. By Wesley So, I should say, knight fd7. Simply avoiding knight bd7, and now bishop takes f6, which would actually be better for white. So knight fd7 was an easy block. Knight e2, bishop e7, why not? Exchange a pair of bishops. Knight into d4, one last trick. For example, here were black to play a move, h5, knight b3, queen a2, knight c3, and so on. White would be winning because this queen is trapped. So after knight e4, Wesley had to see that. He did. He played the very logical knight c5. h4 was Jan's reply, but after the very, again, calm and accurate rook d8, rook h3, this was Jan's idea to play the move rook a3 and win the queen again. The move knight d3 check was a very, very nice move, a move which just ends the game very efficiently, because once you take this, now I can take on d4, and once the bishop moves, I can take on d1. This is the game, and finally get my queen out. And if we do a quick point score, well, black has got a queen and knight versus 3 pieces, plus a bunch of pawns. Just nothing to be said here. Jan soldiered on for a few moves, knight d2, f5, protecting the pawn, rook g3, queen e5, centralizing, rook a3, knight c6, protecting the pawn, g3, queen d4, attacking f2, rook e3, knight b4. Jan had enough, threw in the towel. A very disappointing performance from him. But Wesley So, what can we say? Won the game, won the tournament, 9 out of 13, went over 28-20 in the rating list, sharp on the heels of Fabiano Caruana. And what can we say in general? He fully deserved the tournament win. He had one shaky position, I believe, in the whole tournament when he was lost against Ricard Rapport. But apart from that, he's played the most principled chess. He's played the highest quality chess. And he's converting his chances. And there are other guys at the top who aren't doing it like he is. He is very much the man to be afraid of at the moment. So, congratulations, Wesley. You absolutely deserve the victory. And the big question is, with the likes of Magnus not playing at his best, and the rest of the pack perhaps not showing their best chess. Is this going to be the year of the Wesley? Time will tell. It's absolutely clear that he is now, if it wasn't clear before, having won 3 super tournaments in a row, he is now as much of a challenger for the top spot as anybody else. So, hope you've enjoyed the coverage on Chess24. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating in. It's been a while. And remember to check out all of the other videos on demand on the channel. And looking forward to seeing you again for another super tournament very soon. But for now, it's goodbye from me. Have a great night. And remember to enjoy yourselves. Very important. Cheers.